10, 9.
You want answers? I want the truth!
Get ready for two guys who can't handle the truth.
I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
But we can. Dave Palumbo, Chris Aceto. RxMuscle.com presents Heavy Muscle Radio. Watch out!
Welcome to another episode of Heavy Muscle Radio. I'm Dave Palumbo, and I'm joined, as always, by the technician Chris Aceto on this September 9th, 2019 evening. And it is Olympia week, Chris. It is here. I know you're in Vegas. You've got your whole little setup over there at the Platinum Hotel.
Yep.
All the guys in and out of your room all night. How many people are you helping this year?
I have 10 people in the Mr. Olympia.
Wow.
Two in the Open, 3 in the 212, 5 in the Classic. And then I have like 5 or 6 guys in the Amateur.
Right.
So I'm actually doing like a float chart of like when people should even carb up. I'm like, holy shit, I forgot about this person.
Yeah, because they're weird days too.
They're weird days, and weigh-ins are on one day,
Right.
Prejudging's on another
Yeah.
day, Classic is on this day, this guy's flat, this guy's holding water, this guy's a nut job.
It's stressful.
This guy yeah. So
I'm sure your wife doesn't think that, but for you it's stressful. She's like, he's on vacation. He's in Vegas.
Yeah. Yeah. Got like hookers and marijuana or something.
Hookers and marijuana. Now, do you make the guys come to your room since you have so many people you're helping, or are you bopping around all over the place?
I go to their room because people like to hang out. So
Right.
that way I can leave. Or I've had a couple people come stay with, come by.
Do you have your own room?
Yeah, I have my own room.
Oh, you don't like that though. You like to hang out on guys' couches and stuff like that. And
Well, I like to go to their room. I went for like lunch today to Kamal's room, which was great. He took me lunch. It was like off the charts. So salty, it's ridiculous. I said, it's funny because I'm not a super detailed person,
Yeah.
even though people think I am. I said, Kamal, are you eating this too? I mean, yeah. He said, yeah, I eat it. That's what I eat. Like when I eat that, I said, what's on this? He's got some type of seasoning with
It's like it tastes like gourmet, probably, right?
Yeah, you need 10 Lasix just to get rid of one meal.
Now you wonder why you have to hit him with so many diuretics. I can't believe you're not eating in Eduardo's room. Eduardo is like a master chef over there.
Yeah, he is a master chef. He just came in today. He had a crazy flight. He said, you'll laugh at this. He said, hey, Chris, they're talking about increasing the prize money. He said, but, they don't reimburse me for my flight. I said, what was... No. You know how much his flight cost?
How much?
$8,000. He flew first class. So.
Oh, well, that was on him, yeah.
Yeah.
What do you need? What did he need to fly first class for?
Because he didn't want to make the from Brazil. It's just like a crazy trip. So
yeah, but he's not even going to win that much in prize money. Even if he wins the show, if he wins the show, he's going to lose.
Of course.
He probably got what's his name to pay for it? Marcel.
Yeah, Marcelo, I think, paid for it.
I'm sure of it.
Black Skull, his sponsor.
Yeah. There's no way he paid out of his own pocket for that. Only Aaron Singerman would do that.
Yeah. So he just got in today, so I haven't had time to go over there and have his Korea stuff. He sends me pictures of the food that he makes.
I know. Did he bring? I'm sure he probably stopped on the way and picked up his
Whole Foods.
Emerald Lagasse pans, right? So he can cook with good heating, elements.
He's got the most organized kitchen you can ever imagine. Got the most beautiful looking food from Whole Foods. He won't buy food from Sam's Club or something. Right. Got Whole Foods salmon, Whole Foods filet mignon, Whole Foods.
You say it's funny you say that because when I one year I helped Kevin English when he tried to make his comeback, at the end of his career, and I was asking him, what he eats and stuff like that, and he was getting the $25 per pound filet mignon at Whole Foods. I'm like, you're out of your mind. I'm like, I'd love to eat that, and I probably could afford it, but I can't get myself to spend it. And he was eating a lot of it.
I should send you. I'm dead serious. I'm looking at the Big Bite beef hot dog from 7-Eleven. It was $1.79. That was what I ate.
That's what you ate, beef hot dog.
$1.79. I go to the 7-Eleven right across the street.
That's funny. We go to 7-Eleven every day now. My son is that's the thing him and I do, or my wife and him do after we pick him up from school. I don't know how he somehow massaged us into this routine. We have to get him a Slurpee and whatever he happens to grab, lollipops and now they have donuts there, and forget about it. He's like out of his mind when he gets out of there with the sugar rush.
Yeah, they got a selection of everything at 7-Eleven.
Yeah.
They get the little donuts, 6-pack, those little.
Right. What do you think I buy there?
You probably, God, I don't even know. Coffee? You get a coffee there? Or?
Nah, because at the end of the day, we're like, it's something more mundane than that.
I can't even.
Lottery tickets. I get lottery tickets. I buy.
Oh, you get a lottery ticket there. Yeah. Wow.
I think you got to be in it to win it, right? And if I'm going to win the lottery, I'm always saying, then I got to buy the tickets. And since I'm there every day anyway at 7-Eleven, I usually. It's funny. I bought one of these scratch-offs. They're so complicated. Some of them, it's like a crossword puzzle. And I have to wear like reading glasses like you, and I can't see it. I'm like, screw this. So what you can do is now, you don't even need to scratch the tickets off. You scratch the barcode off and you scan it at the 7-Eleven scanner, and it'll tell you if you won or not.
My father used to sell in his store that I used to work at.
Right.
In
Scratch-offs?
high school, scratch-off tickets. And the money, when the lottery total prize would get up there.
Yeah.
Me always thinking business. I always think like, Dad, we should just be in like a casino or something. I mean, this is just like, because there were some days it'd be like, just make like, this is like 85.
What would the store owner make on profit on those things?
We would sell the tickets. We would sell the tickets for $1, and we would make 50 cents off a ticket.
Wow, I didn't know they paid their ash to the lottery.
Yeah, so you make 100%. So if you sell 1,000 tickets in a day, which is not unreasonable.
No, I can't, because people buy more than one game. Yeah.
1984, making $500.
Wow.
On lottery tickets. I mean, you're making like 10 cents on a gallon of milk.
That's crazy.
Or, on a sandwich, I remember those days, a sandwich we made for $1.35 cost us 79 cents. So you make 50 cents on a sandwich.
Right, and that's pretty good still. But I understand the lottery tickets are amazing. But you know what? Now they got scratch-offs now, Chrissy. You can spend $30 on one scratch-off. So they're like priced $1. There's $2 ones. There's $5 ones. There's $10 ones. There's $15, $20, and there's $30. Who buys $30 scratch-offs? That's like serious gambling. You can blow your whole salary on in one day there.
Well, you can blow your whole salary on a lot of things.
Well, people think because if you buy the $30 ticket, you got a better chance of winning a lot of money. So. But that's too risky for me. The most I'll go is like a $5 ticket once in a blue moon. Sometimes I'll win a ticket. When you win there, you win like $10. You win $5. So I'm always like, I just give it back to them. They're like, you want the cash? I'm like, nah, just give me one of the $10 tickets. I'll roll the dice, so to speak. But I haven't hit anything big. I did win on that one ticket that I was too lazy to scratch up. I did win $6 though. So.
Bob Gruskin used to buy lottery tickets all the time. We'd go into a little store. Oh yeah, he'd get Parliament cigarettes, and he'd be walking out the door and he'd say, "Yeah, give me a lottery ticket."
I'm surprised from where he's from. He didn't play the numbers. They have the people who run the numbers. The illegal numbers. You could bet on. So anyway, it's Olympia week, and Hadi Chupin, who we now know is going to be in the show, made the big announcement. He's going to be. Well, he didn't make the big announcement. I guess Hani Rambad made the big announcement that he's doing the open class. They decided, and I don't know. What do you think about that decision?
I think it's the only decision that he can make.
Why is that?
Because I think if he does 212, he looks like a baby.
What do you mean, like a baby?
Well, I mean, the 212 is not the Mr. Olympia, period. End of story.
Right. Okay.
And then, there's been a lot of hype since he won the show that, he can place XYZ position at the Mr. Olympia. So, here you are, you finally get this visa, thanks to you. And, you get into the country and you say, I'm going to take the B, I'm going to do the B show, which is the 212 Mr. Olympia. I mean, it's nothing against the 212 or the 212 bodybuilders, but the Mr. Olympia was not won by Flex Lewis or Kevin English. It was won by Jay Cutler, Sean Roden, Phil Heath, Dorian Yates. There's a big difference. So I don't think there's really a choice that he has in it.
Well, my take on it.
No, he's competed in the 212 class, in the last 16 months.
Yeah, but why wouldn't he want to go back to Iran, okay, as Mr. Olympia 212? I mean, that's you know those Middle Eastern countries. If Kamal wins wherever he goes back, where is he living now again? He's in the UK now. It doesn't even matter. But when he was in the Middle East, when he would have gone back as Mr. Olympia, they would have given him a house probably for that.
Yeah, I mean, there's prestige. I mean, there's prestige, but at the end of the day, there's asterisks too. I love using that word asterisk. Yeah. This is the asterisk Mr. Olympia. But there's a lot of prestige, and there's prestige to winning the 212 Mr. Olympia, whether you're from a Middle Eastern country, which Iran is not in the Middle East, but
thank you for that,
or not. So I mean, it's an important title, either one. But if you're qualified in both classes, you do the one that has the most prestige. Arnold Schwarzenegger won the Olympia. He didn't win the 212.
You think they're doing it because this year is a weak year, or like you said, an asterisk year where there's not a reigning Mr. Olympia? Maybe they figure this is a chance to win it. I don't personally think he could win the Olympia. I don't think he's got the physique that can hold it his own against. He's too short. He's a little thick-waisted. He's a freak, but I think he could win the 212 Olympia for sure. I think that's really where he should be, and I think he should continue doing the open shows other than the Olympia, because I think that's good for his status. I think it's good to make money, and it's been working for him. So I don't know. I think what happened was no one thought he was getting a visa. Look, when I talked to the immigration lawyer, and I interviewed him. Not Hottie's, but the Margolis firm who I had on the show. I asked him off the record. I said, "Do you think he's going to get a visa?" They're like, "No way." So I mean, these are immigration lawyers because they said it was too soon. So no one thought he was getting in here. So I don't think he was prepping for this show. I think he was prepping for that show that's going to be taking place in Italy, Gian Enrico's show. And I think when they got the visa, he was like, "Holy mackerel! What do we do now?" Now I don't think that means he's going to be out of shape. I just don't think he's going to be down to 212. And I think Hani Rambod realized if I suck him down to 212, even though you probably could have done it no problem, I think they felt that maybe he would have lost some wow factor. What do you think to that theory?
Well, I can get Akeem down to 212, but I just I mean,
I had about five people text me and say, "Why doesn't Aceto get him down to 212? How come Aceto's not?" Because Aceto's not his coach. I don't know. What are we going to tell you? They ask me like I know. Like, would you have tried to get him down to 212, or would you tell him to do the open?
I would have got him to 212.
Yeah, I agree.
Because I don't think I'm not. Listen, Hadi Chupin is a tremendous bodybuilder. He's phenomenal. There's the unknown is Vancouver Pro is not the Olympia.
No.
And I won't even start with names who are expected to crack the top three, but an in-shape Akeem next to Hadi Chopin makes Hadi Chopin look more like a 212 guy. Mm-hmm. Even though he has a lot of muscle per square inch, he has a lot of good dangerous shots, and I hear people talking about him, and I was in agreement with people at the beginning, and people I respect, Jose and Jay have said, this guy, and I'm like, yeah, you're right, but then I think of it as subjectively as possible, and I think of who he beat in Vancouver, and he beat like a watered down Nathan Daisha, who's like way smaller than he's been in the past, who didn't have striated glutes at that show, who didn't have a lot of fullness in his back, who looked flat in a lot of ways. But yes, he's been a top 7 guy, so maybe that puts Hadi automatically in top 7 in a strong year, and this is a weak year, so maybe he does place a lot higher than people think.
I mean,
he places higher than I think, and I'm wrong, and people like Jay and Jose Wright.
What if he comes in here and he gets slaughtered? What if he gets like everyone's saying? Well, I mean, they're talking about like fifth place being like a terrible thing for him. But what if he places like 10th? Now he went into the show. He could have won the 212, and he's like 10th in the Open. Now he's like everyone's like, who cares about him now? Let's. He's a non-issue. Now he loses a lot of that wow factor.
Well, you can fall back on the visa story then. How's that?
No, but there is no excuse. Once you're in the U.S. now, he has the ability to do either class because he qualified in both. Something that no one else has done, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's just, if they're saying he's doing the Open because he can't make the 212, we know that's probably a fallacy because you get guys to suck down 15 pounds for that 212.
He can make the 212. He can make the 212 and still look full. So, and in Vancouver, he was probably 218, and I'm a tremendous guesser at people's weights. I'm probably the best guesser there is.
Right.
And I bet he was 218, and somebody's probably saying, Chris is saying that you're 218, and they're saying he's 235. 218, no higher than 220 at
right.
Vancouver.
Right.
Because there's a remarkable difference when you're ripped, and he is ripped. There's a remarkable difference, between 218 and 211. Me and Eduardo were kidding about that today, of how impressive he is at 5 weeks out. He said, you know what, I was eating a lot, and I was big and I was ripped and huge, and I was 226, and I'm headed to 212. And his point was, I'm not going to be any really that much harder or more impressive at 212, probably less impressive than he was at 224, 226. So
right.
That's a 10-pound drop with some water. So really just 5 pounds on the scale for a lot of people makes a huge impact on the way you look.
I would have liked to see him in that 212 because I think it's a good lineup. I think, between Kamal, Ahmad Ashkenani, Sean Clarita, who a lot of people are forgetting about.
Me too.
David Henry.
Oh my gosh, David Henry's dark horse.
Yeah, I mean, Zane is in that line. And Hide. You forget Hide, too. Hide's dangerous, too.
I didn't know he's in the show. When did he qualify?
He won some show right before. Remember that? I had him on the TV show.
He was ripped. Yes, I remember.
Yeah. So it's going to be a good 212. I mean, I got news for you. People are really kind of overlooking it.
I guarantee there's people on that list who are extremely dangerous. Who are not I don't know where the list is.
John Jewett is good too.
John Jewett is very good. The guy who won the Ireland muscle, whatever it was, last year was extremely impressive.
Right. You got Samuel Haddad on the list too.
Haddad is impressive. The guy from Mexico who was terrible in Puerto Rico but phenomenal in Indiana.
Which guy?
I don't even know his name. He's a freak. That's what I mean. I mean, there's you know what? It's so pathetic that I don't know his name. The reason I don't know his name is there's so many shows, even though Arnold people say there's no 212 competitors. We can't have a 212. There's not enough guys. It's going to be, look at the list. There's probably 20 guys in the 212 Olympia qualified.
No, it's a good lineup. I think I would have liked to see how Hadi stacks up. I think he's going to be outclassed in the Open. I really do. People, talking about how weak it is. The guys are still really good. People don't forget how big these guys are. They're tall and Hadi's short, and he doesn't have a small waist.
Watch. How's he gonna look next to?
You mentioned Akeem. That was a good example because Akeem is not even a top 6 guy, and he's gonna have trouble against Akeem. I think. I saw Oscar Arden's been sending me pictures. I'm not allowed to show anyone, but
okay. How about Rolly?
Just because Rolly's gonna blow him away.
Okay, so there's my point.
Yeah.
There's just a lot of muscle on Akeem.
How about the guy you're helping, Patrick Moore?
Yeah.
I don't think you can be Patrick Moore.
No, I sent you pictures of Patrick Moore. He ain't beating Patrick Moore.
I think Patrick Moore is the dark horse that no one even is paying attention to.
Patrick Moore is the darkest dark horse in the show simply because, unequivocally, he has the smallest waist, which counts because there's a lot of people with wide waists, so it's going to be a contrast. You've seen real pictures of the front double.
He looks like a cross between Larry Wheels and Cedric.
I mean, he's impressive.
He's got much better legs than Cedric. That's for sure.
Yeah, he's got very good legs. He's and I mean, his hamstrings need more thickness from behind. He gets away with them on the side shots. He's got a crazy side tricep, like crazy, look like oiled up to death shoulders and triceps and biceps, which they're not. He's impressive. So, I mean, there's so many different physiques in that lineup. And, the great thing about the Olympia, we have no idea how it's all going to translate, as Jose Raymond would say, on the stage until you see him on stage. And then you see the contrasts, like how much is, how good is like an Akeem Williams going to look in this lineup?
Right.
Different lineup, and is he going to be in good enough condition for that amount of mass to be able to really move up? I mean, it could be a breakout show for him. It could be a breakout show for De La Rosa. It could be
Juan, too. Juan is looking like a freak. I saw some great pictures of him, too.
He's I saw pictures of Juan. He's in tremendous condition. It could be a breakout show for Patrick. It could be and it could be kind of breakdown shows for those things.
Don't count out Kuklo either.
Nope. Steve Kuklo is very impressive.
He has the width and the structure to stand with everyone in that line.
I agree with you. He's Steve Kuklo has wide shoulders, height, and that does translate onto stage. And I mean, he's beaten this year. He's beaten Luke. He's beaten Akeem. He's beaten a lot of good people.
Right. So he's going to be dangerous.
I mean, I think I'm not buying the Hadi hype simply because when you really think deep about it, there's also other people who are dangerous, and we just mentioned some of them, and I haven't even got to the list.
We haven't even talked about William Bonac or Brandon Curry.
Yeah, Bonac
or Dexter.
Dexter. Who else? Roden. Oh, I spilled the beans. Going in.
Is Sean going to be at the Olympia?
Yeah, he's here. He's having a good time. I see him already.
Oh.
Some yesterday, some the day before. We hung out.
Tell him, make sure he gets those, he gets people to sign releases before coming into his room.
Yeah, we hung out and
oh, good.
And you got we'll see what happens. I guess the Arnold people are very excited to have him at the Arnold. Yeah, there's a little tidbit for you.
Is Sean going to get free tickets to the show for being Mr. Olympia?
You didn't jump on that?
Is he going to the show?
Which show? This show, the Olympia? Of course he's going to. He's going
Okay.
to go pre-judging. I'm sure he'll probably go to the press conference.
I'm just saying, does Mr. Olympia have to buy tickets? I'm asking a question.
I don't know. You'd have to ask the guy.
I'll ask Dan Salomon. Yeah.
No, you have to ask the guy who owns it, who made the decision within 30 seconds of the arrest warrant that, get rid of him.
Right. Well, no, I'll ask Dan. Dan makes this. I'm assuming, I would like to believe that they give him free tickets.
Yeah, ask Dan.
The whole thing is very, very sad.
Too controversial. Well, I'm sure Sean can buy his own lawyer. He can buy his own.
Maybe they'll pull a Serge Nubret and they'll say, "Oh, Sean, you want to do the show?"
Hey, be careful what you wish for. He may say yes. I told you can pull a lot of water off people. 3 days.
That's right. So
I have to say, Lee Haney, like Jay Cutler, put out on another YouTube station with the initials MD, a nice statement about Sean.
Right. What did he say?
I'll paraphrase. I've known Sean for years. He's a gentleman. He's an outstanding person. From all my experiences with him, high moral character, and this is just a tragedy.
Yeah, he didn't say anything that's not true. We know that Sean's a good guy, but if he got into a bad situation, which happens to people, hopefully he can.
Those are called, Dave, character witnesses. So you have Hidman as a character witness, Jay as a character witness, and you have a bank robber on the other end. But
we don't know what happened. You and I both don't know what happened, so to speculate would be stupid.
I know that, but but it counts for something, because the flip side is, we could poo-poo.
You don't know the evidence that's out there, just like I don't know all the evidence. What if the evidence that goes to court proves undeniably in one direction or another? There's a bunch of people that are going to be saying, "Oof, we were wrong,"
Yeah, well, you know what? That's why I backed up Sean so much. I said I'm willing to put take
I'm
that.
sure he's not showing you all the evidence, is he?
No, I mean it doesn't matter. It doesn't.
Well, you're friends with him first. So because you're friends with him and you have a relationship with him, you have to support him because that's what friends do to each other. Now, if he turns out that he's
the point. No, because everyone says, "Hey, Chris, I got Sean's back," and I said, "Bullshit, dude. Nobody's got his back." AMI never had his back. They made a unilateral shotgun decision within 30 seconds of an arrest warrant.
right.
Nobody even thought about giving Mr. Olympia the dignity of a phone call, except Bob Chico said, why didn't Sean call them? They didn't even give him the dignity and the respect.
Right.
Because had they, then they could go back and say, you know what? We spoke to this guy. It's our show. He's out. We spoke to him in detail.
Right. I agree.
Oh,
I think
the
they
whole
handled,
thing
they
is
didn't handle it right, but I think that the outcome would have been the same. So it doesn't.
That's
really
okay. You can have you know what? You can have the outcome with different procedures.
I agree. I think they handled it poorly. I agree with you. Jay agreed also.
Well, so did Lee Haney. So
All right, let's talk about. We're going to be doing a lot of on. I think it is Monday. We're recording a show with you, an Iron Debate. You, Dennis James, I believe Fuad, and me, and we're going to really dissect the minutia of the Olympia.
yeah, I can't wait to hear.
Figure out, who's going to win this whole thing. So by the end of the show, we'll have some predictions, and we'll probably all be wrong.
I'll be a baby for the listeners. Well, Dave, I'm not coming on the show unless you first ask Fuad. AMI should have called Roden first.
I'm sure he'd probably agree with that. Let me ask you a question. What's going on with Cedric? I haven't heard a word about him. It's been very quiet.
No, he's quiet. I don't know.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing for him? Is he having a nervous breakdown, or is he actually at a good place?
I think it's a good thing because.
And who's helping him? He's doing it himself?
Yeah, who knows?
That's he said.
I would say that he may be taking the collective, opinion and
Of everyone,
yeah, and then narrowing it down to what makes most amount of sense in his head.
My God.
He is the most potentially wild card. I wouldn't say dangerous person in the show. I would say Rolly is potentially the most dangerous person in the show.
Yeah, I agree.
But outside of Rolly, somebody who could. 365 days ago, we walked away from prejudging, and essentially everyone who walked away said, "Holy shit! I just can't believe Sean's winning."
Yeah.
Why? Because actually, if Sean actually puts it together, we all know that he could win. I mean, we've heard James prediction shows say, if he nails it, like his all-time best, he could win. And that's 100% true as well for Cedric. And me and Sean just had this conversation 3 nights ago.
The funny thing is that Sean listens to you 100%.
Well, we had that conversation as well.
And Cedric used to listen to you 50%. And so that's why it was a 50-50 coin flip if he hit it on the nose or not,
Well, 50-50 is better than, it goes back to the lottery again, right?
But who does this? He's like the craziest person with the greatest genetic gifts like I've ever seen. It's unbelievable.
Because Cedric is an artist. He's like a Kai,
He's a Kai, but even Kai used to listen to Oscar, you know what I mean?
Yes, he would, because Oscar would tie
Oscar was in the room with him, like shacked up for like 8 weeks with this guy. I don't know how Oscar did it, and didn't.
Which he had to be.
Oscar had to be drugged up in order to deal with the guy on a regular basis. Do you remember that video that Amanda and I were just talking about that the other day? Actually, today. Remember the video that Mike Pucinella videotaped? He was working for MHP at the time, I guess, and Kai was one of the athletes, and they had a video Kai the whole lead up to the Olympia. And remember Oscar took Kai to Vegas to sequester him there for 6 weeks before, and Mike Pucinella went with them.
And we discussed on the radio because I remember, Dave, you asking me, you said on the radio, did you know that Kai went to the Olympia? And I said, it's going to be a complete, utter disaster. I said, only it works in the Rocky movies when he went to Russia.
Yeah.
That was a movie.
No, but the funny thing was, if you remember one of the scenes, Mike was there to film him training and getting ready, and he had to release these like different parts to get people excited about it. And Kai wouldn't leave the. Remember, there was like a suite, and like they were in the main area. Oscar, I don't remember who else was in there, and Mike, and they were all talking, and Kai was nowhere to be seen, and Mike kept saying to Oscar, when's Kai coming out of the bedroom? And he's like, I don't know, he's not ready yet. And it just went on for like hours and hours and hours. And Mike was like doing voiceovers and stuff like that. And like 10 hours later, he's like, they still hadn't gone to the gym, And he's like, Oscar, it's like 10 o'clock at night. What's going on with Kai? Is he skipping the gym? No, he'll be going. Remember he went like 12 midnight or something like that? They had to go to the gym.
The meal in the meantime, was Oscar sending in meals to the room, or?
Yeah, they would. He had all his food in there, but it was like Kai wouldn't come out. Like he wasn't like artistically ready to come out.
Yeah.
Talk to the camera.
Yeah. Well, that's what artists do. This, they got to have the right ambiance to be able to.
Yeah, and that was a disastrous Olympia, if I remember correctly. Right, it didn't go well for him there.
He only had one disaster, and then he had the one.
Yeah. So.
Right? I mean, he had other Olympias. All the Olympias, he never really looked his best.
No, he always had mental problems at the Olympia for some reason.
Well, he just,
At least he made it to the stage. Cedric wound up in the hospital, 2 years ago?
Yeah, the year that he beat Kai at the Arnold.
Yeah.
Well, he beat him in prejudge.
Right, which he should have. That should have been his Olympia,
Yeah.
He should have killed everyone there.
15 or 16. 16 or, yeah.
All right, well, let's, I just want to talk about the rise. Well, first of all, you're going to be out there. I won't be there. People have been asking me. I'm not going to be there. Obviously, my wife just had a baby, and we have a lot of, it's hard when, and that when you first have a baby to do anything other than watch the baby. And we have the 2 other kids. If we didn't have the other 2 kids, I'd probably be there. But the bottom line is that you will be there. Sid will be out there. Ralph, our photographer, will be out there. Everyone's going to be in great hands. We have an assistant helping us as well. Dan Salomon hooked us up, took care of us with all the press passes. I want to thank him personally. I think he's doing a phenomenal job on a very difficult Olympia. Can you imagine taking over the Olympia? This is your first year, and everything is like whacked out of control. It's got to be the worst year to do your first Olympia. If he can make it through this, the other ones following this will be a breeze, I think.
Yeah, he picked. He picked like high stress year to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure he's well equipped to handle the stress, but just the craziness of stepping in.
I know, right?
What's up? Well, the guy who holds the title is not doing it. Okay, what else is happening? I mean, there's just so many subplots.
Well, we had to ban him from doing the show, and then the reigning the 7-time Mr. Olympia is not doing it, and then the guy we tried to get in there, who we met with in New York, Kai Green, is not doing it, and then
and then the guy who's supposed to have won it, or the biggest, the next big thing, Rami's not doing it.
Right. Rami doesn't qualify for it, Josh Lenardowitz has. Oh, you know what? Speaking of Josh Lenardowitz, have you been following his Instagram story?
No, I haven't.
He had evidently, the reason he dropped out of the show is he had a brain tumor. He had a brain tumor, and he had to have it removed. I believe it's benign, but he had to have the surgery. And when they did the surgery on him, and he still had every intention of competing, he had a seizure, which can be commonplace when you're doing that kind of a surgery. And because he's so big and everything like that, they were nervous, so they actually put him in a medically induced coma for 10 days. So when Josh woke up, which he thought he woke up from the surgery the same day, it was 10 days later. Obviously, what happens when you lay in a hospital bed for 10 days? You get a lot of muscle wasting and atrophy, and things don't work as well after 10 days in a coma. So obviously that put a kibosh on the whole thing. I hope, we send our prayers out to Josh, of course, and hopefully everything worked out well. We'll get him on the TV show. We'll get the full rundown of what happened. But him and Tony Doherty had done like a little Instagram live and explained, why Josh wasn't in the show. And the messed up part was his wife had just had a baby. Can you imagine that?
Yeah, no, I can't.
That's like, holy mackerel. Talk about stress.
It is a lot of stress.
So he's had a rough couple of years, with the death of Dallas McCarver, which I know really affected him severely. And then this year, obviously, with the brain tumor and his newborn baby. Hopefully next year he'll get his act, back together, get through all this craziness. But yeah, I mean, that's great. But that's another big blow to the lineup. We thought that Josh was going to be a major player.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't think he would be. Josh is in this lineup at his absolute best would have been a major player.
Yeah, I think he would have been top 6 for sure.
No.
So you got to be in it to win it, just like the lottery, Chris.
Yep. Yeah, you got to be in it, and you got to be at your best to win it.
Yeah. So, look, I always say the reason why Dexter is so successful is because he's always in it, and he's always at his best. He's always right there, waiting. He's like the ambush predator snake that sits in the leaves, on the ground. Doesn't attack anyone, just sits in the leaves, waiting until someone walks a little too close to him, a mouse goes a little too close to him, and boom, he just snatches him right up. That's Dexter. Deadly like that, like a venomous viper.
I don't think he's going to be deadly in this lineup.
Well, we'll see. Look, we've seen lineups where we on paper had this one coming in this place and this one coming in this place, and we show up, and what happens? They're all out of shape. Right? It's happened before.
Yeah, I mean,
I've seen it at the Arnold. I've seen it at the Olympia. Everyone's a little off. You're like, who the hell are we going to pick? That's how Dexter won in 08, right? Jay was off. Who else was off in that lineup? I can't even remember who was in it.
I think Wolf maybe, or
wasn't Kai right up? Was Kai 4th that year? I don't even remember. No, Kai wasn't in that lineup, right?
I wasn't around yet.
No,
Kai hadn't blown up yet.
that was 08, right? I thought Tony Freeman actually should have won the Olympia that year. He was 5th. Wolf, I think, was 4th, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you never know. You just never know. I think was Heath 3rd that year?
08. I don't think. No, Heath's first year was. I think Heath's first year was 09, right?
No, I don't remember.
I think.
It's too many years.
Yeah.
Too many shows. Anyway, so that's the Olympia. We're going to have a great team there. We'll have some stupendous coverage. I think that people are going to really love the pictures and all the video content we're going to have and the analysis that you're going to be doing with all the guys there. I know that John Hansen is going to be joining you with Tom Platz and Samir again. So you guys are going to have a great wrap-up. Doesn't get much better than that one, right?
Yeah, I hope I can contain these people.
And I'm sure Milos will be jumping in.
It's gonna be there's going to be 20 people who want to do the wrap up.
Yeah, you're gonna have to corral all these people and it's like almost like a mob scene, because then all the fans corral around all those guys because they want to see all the superstars there and all the legends and what their opinions are. So,
well, we're gonna have to wrap up the. Are we gonna wrap up the press conference? Because
you're wrapping everything up. You got to wrap up on everything.
Press conference because. Brandon's going to say he's win it, and Dexter's going to say I'm Mr. Olympia. I'm going to win it. You have, and then you got.
Well, this year Sean Ray is running the press conference with Bob. Dennis won't be doing it this year.
What happened to Dennis?
I don't know. We'll ask him tomorrow on the TV show.
Yeah.
When we do it. All right, let's run down this Rising Phoenix World Female Bodybuilding Championships that took place this past weekend in Phoenix, Arizona. Helly Trevino wins. Now, you worked with her, 2 years ago, was it?
The first year she won it.
Right, I think it was 2 years ago. And she's back in the winner's circle. Let me tell you something. I got to give props to Jake Wood, the Wings of Strength, benefactor, as I call him. He's been supporting all these Wings of Strength shows. There's got to be about 10 of them at this point. He does this World Championships. He's given, I think, from what I understand, $1 million to the Olympia to sponsor it. I mean, he's supporting the sport of bodybuilding at this point. And he gave Helly, for that win, she got $50,000 and a Dodge Hellcat, which is one of those Dodge Challengers that's all souped up like the 800 horsepower. This car was, I would have driven the car. I was like, fuck, man, that's a great car.
Well, she's got the truck from she's got the $100,000 truck from when I helped her.
Yeah, she won. I think she won $75,000 then, right? With the truck. It was she made a lot of money. I remember that year. She's done pretty good for herself in bodybuilding, considering what the bikini girls, the figure girls, and the women's physique women are making. She's killing them in prize money.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I applaud them for putting up that much money. I really do.
What's the return on? What is
There's no return. There can be no return on this whatsoever, other than the pleasure of saying, you know what, I helped out the sport.
You know, I have you know how they have those theme hotels?
Yeah.
Because I want to open up a hotel. I have a women's bodybuilding hotel
You do.
they can invest in. How's that?
I bet he'd do it. I bet you Jake would do it. You want to open a hotel? You just put a women bodybuilding theme in there, and Jake will put the money up for it.
The WWF, WWE, they were supposed to have a theme.
That would have been a great idea. That would have been a great idea. I'm surprised they didn't
Why
do
they
it.
No, they in Vegas they had plans to do it. And then they were thinking about doing it. I think in Times Square at one point. That was, you know, what's funny? Vince McMahon, talk about like brilliant. He wanted to do theme hotels, a WWE theme hotel before theme hotels outside of Vegas were
happening. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they're happening now in different cities.
I think now, if he did one in Vegas, it would be a hit, sensation.
I would think so.
Because you know what, it would give kids a place. Like, because kids, you know, where can kids go in Vegas? Like, it used to be circus. I mean, what's like the hot place for a kid to go in Vegas now? There's really no place.
Yeah, it's an adult where, you know.
And the WWE's great theme because adults like the WWE too. So it'll go both ways, you know. And parents will go there because the kids will be happy. It would be a great idea. They could have a house show every night. Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see.
When are you taking a hotel vacation with the family?
Not for one. Not. It was getting closer to one, and now we have another one. So although my new daughter is really good, she sleeps and everything. Oh, my son and my other daughter, they're they're at that age. It's tough to take them anywhere for long periods of time.
Yeah.
When my son gets tired, or hungry,
it's
kids
wild.
go crazy. They go crazy. Yeah. So it's tough.
Isn't it funny when I'm sure you hear your wife say you think you see your son going crazy and she'll say he's hungry and you're like, what's? They go wild because you forget they go wild when they get hungry and then you feed them and they're like, oh, they're fine.
Yeah. You know what the funny thing is? I say to myself all the time, I'm like, I wonder if I did this to my dad and I wonder if my parents had to go through the same thing with me. And I wish my dad was alive and coherent so I could ask him.
You could ask.
Amanda said my father said that I did that stuff, but I would have liked to get more details on how severe I was. She said my father had to wrestle me till I fell asleep, but I don't know if I was so poorly behaved at like restaurants and stuff like that,
Well, did you even go to restaurants like in that day?
No, they wouldn't even take me out to eat. The only time we went out to eat was my grandparents took us out and paid.
There you go. So,
that's probably why that's why we didn't go out to eat. So Helly wins. Second place went to Margie Martin, who I thought was going to win, but she just wasn't in very good shape for her. She's got all the tools to be the champion for 10 years, and it's not going to happen. It's interesting because I asked. I don't know if I asked. Who did I talk to? Oh, I was asking Hide. When I interviewed Hide, Hide's in business with Iris Kyle. I said, Hide, if they bring back the Miss Olympia next year, which is a possibility, especially since Jake's putting up all this money, I said, would Iris come back and compete? He said, absolutely, which I found interesting.
Dude, that's called writing is on the wall or whatever that. Read the tea leaves. If the guy who loves female bodybuilding just put $1 million into AMI's pocket, the next thing he does is he puts more money in their pocket and says, "How about bring back the Miss Olympia?"
Right.
That is going to happen.
Chris, what would you do if you had all that free money available to support the sport of bodybuilding? Would you do it?
No, but
you'd buy a hotel, the WWE hotel with it.
Yeah, I would have a hotel in Vegas or something. I'd have a boutique hotel like out on Long Island.
Yeah, there you go.
The Hamptons.
At Gurney's. Yeah, where Gurney's is out there. The one time you know what Gurney's is? It's like one of these fancy hotel resort places. Yeah,
Where is it?
out
Island?
in Montauk. It's out in Montauk.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
people
yeah.
go there in the summer. So my father, like the one time my parents went to go there, like, you know, to be like big shots. Like my mom was sick at the time. My father's like, let's just go to Gurney's. You know, I think my grandparents gave them money or something like that because it's expensive. And so it rained the whole time they were there. My father was like, you know, was trying to, you know, keep my, you know, it was like a foreshadowing of all the terrible things, you know, my father had to look forward to in life. But from what his thing, I said, well, you know, it is what it is. It's the company you keep. It's not what the weather is there.
Yeah. Everywhere my parents ever went on any vacation, it always rained.
It rained too.
Anyway.
I felt bad.
You know, whenever they tell stories where they went, rained. Went to Italy for a week, rained. Went to, you know, Colombia for a week, it rained.
When people, you know what? Now that I live in Florida, when people tell me that stuff, I'm like, you know what? Get the fuck out of New York. You're on vacation every day. The weather's always nice here.
Well,
I don't need a vacation because I'm on vacation. I walk outside my house and the sun hits me in the face in February when you're freezing. You took us off there in Maine.
Yeah.
At least you're smart enough to get the hell out of Maine for a couple of weeks, you know, every so often, and come down to Florida.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I don't mind the cold, you know, because I like what I do.
Plus, you got Phil to watch over your apartments over there.
Yeah, I got Phil and I got Phil's neighbor who I left a voice message for you this week. She saw a closet. I left a message for Dave. Someone left a message for me. I sent it to Dave. It was a little old lady that she went. What, Dave? She saw. She felt a breeze, so I don't even know. When she looked through in a closet, and there was a window open through the closet, and she couldn't.
All I know is that I figured this out. Chris's client, Phil's girlfriend, left him. Now Phil is driving Chris crazy. So
he has no money for rent, so he's my best friend.
Oh, he is. Yeah, he says evict. You know, he's like giving Chris the old guilt trip. Up, if you have to evict me, evict me. But I'm blaming Chris because I think that the girlfriend left him because the building's too noisy. Chris doesn't do anything to stop the vagrants from coming in.
She called me, and I have a blocked call on my cell phone for her to be able to call me. So she called me from like a track phone and said, you know, this is so and so, like Amanda. I'm like, which Amanda? You know, yeah. And she said, I'm leaving Phil.
You're like, oh,
I knew
no.
it was next. You know what she's telling me?
What?
Just, you know, he's going to have no money for rent. It's not, you know, so I just can't even deal with it. So I said, okay, good. Thank you. Thank you for letting me know. Goodbye.
Yeah.
I mean, what do I need?
I got a story there, though, that's going to outdo
Did say this. He called begging me to not evict him, which I will at some point, right?
You think he's going to stop paying you the rent?
Yeah, well, he has no money.
Oh. So she was paying the rent?
Yeah. So I told him, you know, he's been there 20 years. I said, Phil, I'm not going to evict you. And, you know, of course, immediately is like, oh, God bless you, Chris. God bless. I said, yeah. So don't work in the God bless.
Yeah. You know what the funny thing is, though, Chris?
I'm going to work with you. I'll swallow it for a while, but. You know,
but the best thing is that you could let him live there rent free, and he would still continue to complain and threaten that he's going to take the building from you.
He would absolutely. There's no doubt about it.
Like you'll be like, Phil, you're not paying any rent. Come on, Chris. How many times I got to live here with this couch? It's been here for 20 years. You're not going to give me a new couch, Phil? You don't pay rent.
I bought him a new couch.
You want to go that route? I'll just own this building, Chris. That's all.
I told you about the guy who, right? I sent you his letter from jail.
Yeah.
The guy who I think we might have played his message.
Yeah, we did.
On the show where he said, "You slum, I'm gonna own this place. Yeah. You slum landlord."
It was worse than that.
He had left me another threatening message, which I kept.
Yeah,
because if code, you know, when you call code, they have to respond legally,
of course,
to whatever complaint. So I said, you know, I better keep it so in case they call, I can just say, you know, this guy's kind of like a nutcase, and here's the message. But he left, apparently, I don't know who, he left a very, very serious threatening. I don't know if it was email or whatever, but the police came and hauled him off. And
good. He's obviously a nutcase. Good riddance. Good riddance. All right, just running down the rest of this lineup here. Let me run down the rest of it. Irene Anderson, good friend of mine, third place. Nikki Chartrand, fourth. Monique Jones, 5th.
Oh, Monique Jones. I just saw her somewhere recently. Tampa.
Oh, she was
I
in
figured
Tampa,
she looked really lean down and stuff.
Yeah, she looked a little. She could have been a little tighter. And of course, they also had a pro fitness division, which was won by Ryle Graber, who won the Arnold Classic this year. She'll be trying to win that Olympia from Whitney Jones this year. Pro figure. See, this is a Sidney Gillen is a 2-time Olympia champ, right? But she showed up at this show a week before. The only Olympia champ that did this and won this. This is the second year in a row she's won this. She got a nice check in the mail. She got a nice check for winning here. Why not do it? She's the Olympia champ. I don't know why these people won't compete.
What did she get?
Who knows? I don't know. She probably got more money than she'll make at the Olympia. I don't know. I don't know what the prize money was, but she probably made good money because I'm sure she wouldn't have come otherwise. But that's great. I love seeing that. Don't you? The Olympia champ.
I'm kind of cynical.
It's a warm up.
No, I mean I'm cynical. It's like, how much did she make? I don't know because
she probably made $10,000. I would think.
Oh no, then it's definitely worth going.
Come on, man. This is how many years you have to make money, in the sport, especially in the women's division.
Well,
Take advantage. And you know what? I'll tell you why these girls like to do the show. Because he treats them like they're superstars. It's like the red carpet they roll out for these women. And you know what? There's no other show that does that. You know what they do at the other shows? And I'm not saying this is a reflection of the promoter. At the other shows, they want the show over with, right? How fast can we get the show done? Because there's 4,000 classes. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. But when they do this show, The Rising Phoenix, he runs it like it's the Academy Awards for these girls. So they feel special. They're treated well.
So maybe they can treat you like you're,
I don't want to go to shows anymore. But they take care of the people there. And you know what? There's not that many shows that do that. So kudos to Jake and the whole crew there, Tim Gardner, whoever runs the show.
About them folding themselves into the Olympia next year comes true.
I hope so. It's my idea, but no one. It takes 20 years for them to adopt my ideas. No, but it's just it makes sense. I told Jim Magnus, Jim, just combine the women's physique. Call it Miss Olympia.
I know.
Don't you think it's almost like a? I feel bad for Shanique because she should be winning the Miss Olympia. She's Miss Olympia. She's not Miss Physique Olympia. She should be on the main stage posing for the Olympia title. Girl's a freak. I mean, she's another Linda Murray, maybe better.
Yeah, she's phenomenal.
She might be better in another. Remember, she's only what is she 20?
Yeah.
She tell me.
Yeah.
She's 22 or something like that. Maybe she's 24 now. I don't know, but the point is she's very young. She could do this for another 10 years, if not more. So imagine in 5 years what she's going to look like. And she's doing it the right way. She's feminine. She's nice looking. She's not ruining her looks or her physique. She's adding a little bit of muscle every year. I'm telling you, in 5 years, she's going to be Linda Murray. She's going to have that physique, and she'll never be beaten as long as she doesn't get injured.
Yeah, maybe they can, if the Olympia comes back, they can pull Linda out of the retirement.
What's Linda, 60 now? She looks great, though. Believe me, she's amazing. She looks pretty, but she proved that. I mean, she came back when she was in her 40s, right? And she was winning Olympias.
Yeah.
That was one of the greatest comebacks. If you think about it, she took off a long period of time.
Yeah.
And ironically, that she was, I guess, she had lost twice. To Kim Shizevsky?
Yep.
Who Chad obviously was married to and coaching at the time, and then when Linda made the comeback, he coached Linda, which was pretty funny.
Yeah, crazy. People don't know that.
No. Bikini was won by Monica Ellis. And the women's physique division, was run by our good friend, Pen Pragai Tiaganak from Thailand. Tremendous talent. Mm-hmm. Which was a huge upset, if you think about it, because Natalia Coelho was in that lineup, and she was second. And I have to believe that she was certainly the favorite going into the show. Pen Pragai is a talent. We've talked about her before. I don't know if you remember her physique. She's from Thailand. Mm-hmm. Asian girl. Amazing physique. Yeah. She just had some trouble nailing her conditioning last year a little bit, but I knew she was going to be a tough character. For her to knock off Natalia here, that's a big deal. Jennifer Taylor was third. So a lot of excitement going into the Women's Physique Olympia, although I don't think anyone can beat Shanique, but I think it'll be a good lineup. I think we're seeing lineups like we saw like back in the when Laura was competing, against Linda.
Yeah, no,
You got some good girls.
I'm sure it's going to be a tremendous lineup.
Let's face it, Laura Craval was always the more conditioned, more muscular, more polished, but Linda had that structure that no one could beat.
Yeah.
And that's the way I see Shanique. Shanique is vulnerable. She's definitely vulnerable. She's not the biggest girl up there. She's not the hardest girl up there. But she structurally is so crazy that I think that it's hard to not give her the win. I mean, I see an absolute comparison.
Well, I mean, I talked to, I was sitting with Stan, who's in the Classic.
Stan DeLonga?
Yeah. And, we were talking about the Olympia, and obviously he's very biased, but not as biased as me. He was talking about Sean's structure. He said, there's you have to have the structure to be able to have big wins.
Yeah, that's true.
Obviously you need other things. You need the condition. You need this. You need that. But you need a very unique structure. And then the conversation moved to where we were laughing because Jay had just sent me a picture at Jay's structure. He how wide Jay was. For so many years, the width on stage just overwhelmed people. Jay had sent me a picture, Dave, today. You know how you post pictures of you when you're just absolutely gigantic?
Yeah.
He sent me a picture. He's sitting on a bench. It had to be like 2002. And the picture just looks morphed. The delts is just so ridiculously, not only wide, but capped.
Yeah. Yeah, he was a freak.
His delts look like... who's the guy whose arms blew up when he used to blow up the
Valentino?
his delts look like Valentino's. They were just like insane, but the width on top of this, the fullness in them. So, Jay had the structure from Mr. Olympia.
Oh yeah, absolutely, no doubt.
When Phil won the first couple times, he had this, the crazy structure. Flex Wheeler had the structure.
I just got a Facebook message from Josh Lenardowitz, ironically enough.
Oh, yeah, what do you have to say?
I'm going to read it to you.
I
sent him a message saying...
Do it in an Australian accent.
I sent him a message about sending prayers and positive energy to him. And so he wrote, I sent this on Wednesday. He sent this to me just now. Dave, thanks. Awesome, brother. My middle brother had it 20 years ago. I guess he had the same thing. And has been fine since. It's a very rare condition that we didn't think it was in the family, but I ended up with it. My oldest brother has trained all his life and had no issues. Thankfully, it's okay and getting back into my routine now. I did ask if it was bodybuilding related because if it was, I would have stopped competing, and they said it has nothing to do with bodybuilding. My metabolism would have increased the rate of the tumors developing. I'm thankful that I'm strict on my testing, and I didn't ignore it and go to the Olympia, as there's always next year. He's right. He could have tried to ignore it, right, Chris? And who knows? It could have caused a major problem, So Josh was smart. Maybe that whole Dallas McCarver episode was a message to him, and it was a way of waking him up to, hey, look, if something's wrong with you, get it checked out. And that's what I tell everyone. If Dallas's death was a sacrifice for the rest of us to take note of things that are not right about ourselves and get them checked out, then you know what? His death was not in vain. So, Josh, we love you, man, and we're looking forward to seeing you back on stage next year. You'll get through this. And congratulations on the newborn baby, of course. So that was cool. I thought that he reached out to us. Amanda sent me a crazy transformation picture of Shanique back from 2013 to like 2018. 2013. I think she was 13 years old here, Amanda. She's not that old. That was how long ago? It's 2013. 6 years ago?
17 or 16.
She probably was in her teens, yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy. And she still had arms, though. She still had good arms. She's flexing her bicep. She's got... She's born in 95, Chris. You and I was doing the nationals, my first nationals.
I was going to say, first thing that came to mind is Jay won the, I think that California show in 95.
So she was 18 here. That would be crazy.
Joe Weider was still alive.
Joe Weider was still alive. That's right. Do you know who the last people to interview the Joe Weider was? And Ben?
Probably Dan Salomon people.
No. Mr. G and his brother, the Smalley brothers.
You kidding me?
Yeah, they assaulted him in the lobby at the Arnold Classic. Rob Wilkins almost had it like, Mr. G's so nuts, he had no shoes on. No, Robbie Smalls had no shoes on. Mr. G gave him a big bear hug. I thought Rob Wilkins was going to take them down to the ground and take them out of commission. And then he realized they were just two crazy fans. Yeah, they were asking him all kinds of questions. Hold on, I got. Our friend Derek sent us some questions. Let me see what his questions are. If they're worthy of reading on the air. How come bodybuilders aren't weighed before stepping on stage in the open class, Chris?
Because they'd all be exposed for their phony weights.
That's what right. Lonnie Tieper said that for years. He's been saying that. Next question: what's the weirdest food someone has carved up on?
With me,
I guess.
I don't know because I don't do anything wacky.
Well, you do the muffins every once in a while, right? I do McDonald's. I'll do some burgers and fries, but I don't use that every meal. So, well, Chad Nichols used to do the pie filling. I think that's the wackiest thing, don't you think?
Well, I mean,
apple pie filling.
I personally think if you're depleted, it doesn't matter what the F you carb up on at all. You can't tell. Some scientists can't. In fact, I think it's just all bogus.
Yeah, but I think if you gave pie filling to like a regular guy, not like Ronnie or anything, if you gave pie filling to a regular, they wouldn't look good. I guarantee it.
Well, then they're probably not in tremendous shape.
I think it would upset most people's stomach too. All that sugar, don't you think? It probably tastes good the first couple bites down, and then it can kind of make you a little nauseous.
I guess it would be quantities. I mean, if the quantity was not a lot, I think the body could handle it.
But you're right. If you're glycogen depleted, you could eat anything and fill up. Really,
it's like people say, can I drink that? Yes, you can drink Diet Coke for the last 3 days. I have no problem with that. I mean, if Diet Coke, I sound like Cedric. If Diet Coke is going to break you, you're not in shape anyway.
I did a guest posing once for Vinny Greco. Remember Vinny?
Of course.
You owned the Powerhouse Gym. He had the Powerhouse Gym show.
Yep.
I did the guest posing, and on the way up there, I was driving up there because it was like a 4-hour drive from Long Island. I was sick. I had like some kind of stomach virus, and I had to keep stopping, and I was pooping, and when you have diarrhea, you get really dry, right? So by the time I got to the hotel room 4 hours later, and went to the bathroom about 6 times there, I was so depleted that I'm like, I got to eat something, right? So of course you eat the worst junk possible, right? Yeah. The next day, I looked so fucking good from just loading on junk because I had everything that depleted out of my body. I had no water in my body whatsoever. And I looked like an absolute freak, all veined out and mapped out, everywhere.
You know what's so funny that you say that, Dave? I know someone who I once was helping for a show, and they had crazy diarrhea like a few days before the show. And they were so flat but peeled, and then I just had them eat anything for like 3 days, and they were like all-time best.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy
and
sometimes.
I just had them eat anything because I figured, I think, I put them on the scale, and they lost like more weight than I can even pull off someone in 3 days. Not Bob Brush, because he could pull off all.
Right. That's funny. So, look, who knows? Who knows? I don't know. It's the Olympia is so much fun, I think, because there's so much speculation and everyone's got all their plans, and this one's doing this and this one's doing that, and he's carving up, and did you hear about this one? Remember back in the I remember mostly like in the late 90s, early 2000s, everyone had the inside scoop. Remember, there was no social media. So no one knew what anyone looked like, right? You would say, "Oh, I heard Coleman's a freak. Oh, I heard Flex Wheeler's going to destroy these guys." Right?
Yeah, yeah.
So and so's off. Nasser's off. He's got a welt in his shoulder. He's got a knot in his shoulder. You'd have every fucking Kai Green passed out in the fucking on the treadmill. Right?
Yeah.
You had all these stories, but no one really knew if they were true or not because there was no. Nowadays, people document it. You could actually go on their Instagram Live and you can watch them fall off the treadmill.
Yeah.
Right? They're filming everything they do now.
Yeah, it was all just nobody knows until the.
And how exciting was it when you were sitting in the seat waiting for these guys to come out for the first time because you were like, no one knew what anyone looked like, You'd have one guy from backstage sneak out and say, "Whoa, wait till you see Flex Wheeler," or "Whoa, wait till you see Ronnie's glutes. You guys are gonna go crazy," right?
Yeah. It's all changed.
Yep. Well, let me see. Let's check my notes here. Make sure I asked you everything I had to. You know what? I'll end on this story. Instead of a quote of the week, I had a guy who competes and he's a bodybuilder text me. He texts me every once in a while. He was having sex with his girlfriend, and I guess he missed. Sometimes when you come out too far and you try to go in, you can miss, and he hit her pelvic bone instead of the opening that he should have been going into, and he broke his penis. He fractured his penis. It is possible. He heard a loud snap, almost like when people say they tear their pec, they hear a loud snap. Mm-hmm. He broke his penis, and all of a sudden he started getting a huge hematoma, and then out of the tip of his penis, blood was spurting, like when you cut an artery.
This is not a listener of the show, is it?
I bet he probably is because he's on bed rest now. He's got a month to recover from this thing, And he said, I'm laughing, but it's really not funny. He said he actually was trying to tourniquet off his penis, with his hand, so that it would stop. And it was still continuing to, just spurt out of the tip of his penis. That's got to be the most horrifying experience of your entire life. You're having sex, you're enjoying yourself, and all of a sudden you break your penis, and blood is bursting out of it. So, of course, the paramedics get there, and... by then it had slowed down the bleeding, and so he just said, grabbed his girlfriend. They went in the car. They went to the hospital. I think he was in surgery for a couple hours. They had to fix it. They had to put a catheter in there, but they said they expect a full recovery. So that's good to know.
Funny story when people say, "Hey, Dave, why were you in the hospital?" You say, "Shoulders acting up again. Shoulders
broke my penis."
Yeah,
1 in 100,000 people it happens to. So you probably have a better chance of winning the lottery.
Yeah.
Than breaking your penis. What's the moral of the story? Here's your quote of the week. Be careful. Don't rush, as my dad would say. He'd say, "You're always rushing. Where are you rushing to?"
That's funny. My father always said it's one of the few. Dave. That's one of the few pieces of solid advice that I got from my father that I realized at a young age. That's true.
Exactly. Where are you rushing? Where are we rushing? We're always running around rushing. We never have enough time.
Or making decisions. He always would say you don't have to rush to make a decision.
Yeah. That's why I'm so happy that I have my wife, because she doesn't make rash decisions. I'm a very quick decision maker, and she slows me down, and then we wind up making the right decision. So, good team. Yeah. Good teamwork. All right, Chris, we'll enjoy all your time out there in Vegas leading up to the Olympia. Sid will be there Wednesday for the press conference. We'll have that press conference, wrap up. Thursday is, I believe, Meet the Olympians, right? We'll be going there. I'm sure you'll be interviewing some people for us. Meet the Olympians, and then on Friday we get started. We have the prejudgings, and we have the finals for the women, and then we have the men's prejudging, and then Saturday night you wrap up this whole thing, and it's going to be I'm sure it's going to go very fast once it starts, but. Remember, guys, tune in all weekend long to all the RX Muscle coverage. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, make sure you subscribe, and also make sure you follow us on Instagram, official_RX Muscle, because Sid will be putting up every update of the weekend there. So if you want exclusive information, Chris will be giving them stuff to put up on there. Anything that happens will be on that Instagram, and then, of course, our Facebook as well, and then on the RX Muscle YouTube channel and the rxmuscle.com website will be all the great videos that we'll be taking there and the coverage that we'll be doing. So thank you, Chris, for taking the reins this weekend and really making sure that we have the best coverage at the Olympia. I owe you one. Or two. Or three.
I'll cash it in at some point.
Or 3 or 4. All right, that's going to take us to this. Wrap this episode up again. Remember, with Heavy Muscle Radio,
The truth hurts.
good night, everyone. Have a great Olympia. We'll see you next week.